Okay, so Willie do wants to get into the China stuff. I saw this clip on social media. This was on Twitter. Apparently what we have here was a video taken in Shanghai. And this is people screaming out of their windows a week after total lockdown, no leaving your apartment for any reason. Now, before you play the clip, a little bit of backstory. This is a thing that has happened in China in the past with earlier stage COVID when lockdowns had taken place. It seems to me to be some type of protest, some type of coping or something like this. And I don't know for certain that this clip is recent. There is recent lockdowns happening, but I can't be certain that this clip is recent. Now, there's a number of different angles, and we're going to go through the thread here on Twitter to check some of this out. But this has 5.5 million views posted April 8th. A lot of people are passing this around because it is just a really unnerving
It's a powerful clip.
So go ahead and make it big, Will, and put the volume on.
终于2万人，所有人都在叫，要命了！就刚刚5分钟前头，叫没几个了，现在突然之间，所有人都叫了，要死！要命了！再这样弄下去，我跟侬讲，真的要出事体了，操，麻烦了。根治啥么呢？因为所有个人，伊都不晓得这个状态到底维持到啥个辰光。侬总要拨个标准，或者是讲有一个具体的说法。没，侬讲看，闷了7天。 当然，屋里向啊，不能出门啊，不是说不能出小区啊，这不行的，马上弄下就要出事情。
Wow, that's really eerie.
Oh, that was.
So, you know, some are saying.
Oh, for people listening, essentially, it's a video.
Wow! Yes, anybody just listening, it's a video of out an apartment building window of a number of other apartments and seemingly screams and light and like cycling of lights. And I saw a flashlight.
Any form of, I'm assuming, connection with other people.
Apparently, it's another lockdown, and I assume.
Like in a really aggressive lockdown where people can't even leave their apartments and can't even get food.
Yeah,
people are starving.
That's what they're saying. There's people in the street saying, come arrest me. I don't care. I got to bring food to, you know, my grandmother or whatever. They're talking about like sealing doors shut.
Wait, like the police is sealing public?
Well, there's another. Go through the thread now. And again, we don't know if this footage is all connected in the last day or two.
Right.
Oh, yeah. And not knowing when it's going to end.
I guess that's the most daunting part.
Yeah.
It's just the
how do you prepare? How do you plan? And
when you go to the store, do you buy food for a few more days or do you buy food for the next month?
Well, there was another clip going around of a guy kind of just ranting in the middle of the road saying, I'm done, saying, you know, I have no money left or, you know, my business is here's the clip of the sealing of the doors.
Oh, with paper? Like how they do in a crime scene. If the door's ripped,
they know, yeah.
那我们的物资来了，就是说我们还是可以下去拿的。不可以下去。那怎么办呢？不知道，可能让我们送吧。
So in this video clip, it's like a paper seal being put across the
doorway.
The doorway, so that if the door was to swing open, it would rip the paper, and you can see it across the hall on the other apartment too. And I mean, it might seem simple, right? Like you might think, no, I just imagine that a person could perceive it as, I don't know, like, so what if, as long as you have your supplies, you're in your house, what's the big deal?
Oh no. Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying.
I'm just trying to present the other side of it, but you know, the feeling of not having autonomy at all, I mean, it's very close to prison.
Yeah.
It's not that, but even though, please refrain from leaving home or being visited under home quarantine. Join forces in solidarity to overcome adversity.
I mean, you mentioned prison just now.
The label says.
I just thought about what's the biggest punishment they give in prison? Isolation. They put you in the tank where you cannot talk to anybody. No
solitary confinement.
Solitary confinement.
Yeah.
And how is this really that much different other than the fact that you still have your homely things?
Keep going down a little bit. There's one other clip that I wanted to show. Well, this is the guy who's ranting in the street and talking about not being able to get food to his mother and his grandmother. Yeah, well, listen, there were points in time where other places had lockdowns and people behaved this way too. It's just that there's a certain intensity level here.
Whoa.
In China where it's you put the seal on the door. It's symbols where it's not an honor system or anything. It's like no, you comply.
Yeah,
and it's just obvious that those symbols seem to matter. Here's another angle on another view of the same clip from earlier.
It's sounds very haunting.
Oh man.
That many people screaming at once.
That many people in pain. Not physical, but you know what I mean.
Well,
or maybe even physical.
I don't know. It could be hungry or whatever.
Yeah, that's so scary.
So anyway, look, it's going to be a lot of stuff coming out, and a lot of stuff is going to be disputed. Maybe here, play this clip.
我们碧水山城现在所有的居民都在喊没有菜吃了，封控半个月了，我们1单元只收到了1次菜，2、3单元收到了2次菜，现在也没有能买菜的地方。
So anyway, yeah, it's very difficult on social media to be able to like without a shadow of a doubt say, okay, this happened at this exact date, this video clip, or this might have been enhanced, or this might be spread for this particular reason or that particular reason. Like you have to look at like piles of stuff and sort of attempt to figure out what is really going on. And even after you do all that, you're going to be making a bet, right? You're going to be guessing that, okay, this is, based on everything I saw, I feel like something like this is going on. But it's hard to definitively.
Unless you have family there.
But even that.
Or friends.
But even that's like one point of view, right? That's anecdotal and maybe one person or one neighborhood. I'm just saying all this because of how complicated it is to live in a social media atmosphere now. So I'm just putting it out there because other people are going to hear these arguments too. And it's one of the reasons we end up with this chaotic feeling is because you start talking about truth and being how uncomfortable it is to not know what's true.
Yeah,
How
uncertainty.
How chaotic it is to not know exactly what you're seeing and what the motivators are and what the true suffering is and what the actual current state of things is. And then there's another angle, which is, we all look at that and say, God damn, that's terrifying, right?
But the number of people.
Why? Okay, now I understand you got China, you got control. I understand this. Is there something they know about this virus that we don't?
Oh.
Like a variant that is more intense?
Like, what is this? Like, that seems like a lot of work. Did they have some kind of intel that if this thing gets passed around 5 more times, all of a sudden?
Well, they have more people. Wouldn't it spread quicker?
I'm just saying. All right. Now, this is not facts by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm just saying to go through all this at this point, so far on, after you've seen what happened over here, everybody's just like, okay, it's over, whatever.
Yeah.
That was what it was. But that's right now, or presume that it's relatively recent.
Yeah, yeah.
Why still go through it all right now when the rest of the world was like, this thing is here to stay? Unless...
It must be different.
Go ahead, Will. Go ahead. No,
I'm just going to say what you're thinking.
No, you looked at me.
Well, you think it's another variant, right? Like a more dangerous one.
No, I never said that. No, I never said that.
Well, you thunk it.
What? Other people are saying, like to say that, hey, it's an exercise of power. It's an exercise of control. It's an exercise of compliance, right? What's the ultimate compliance? Shut up and do nothing.
Yeah.
And don't you dare try to disobey. Like, what other parameters could you, like, under what other circumstance could you essentially lock people up? Everybody. I don't even think there is one that we can imagine. Everybody, you're locked up. Don't move.
Like martial law. Like military.
But in Ukraine, there's bombs going off, and they have a curfew.
Yeah.
They still, they're depending on regions, but go ahead.
No, I mean, like, China's different, right? They're all about conformity, in a sense.
Right, their values are different than
Willie
ours.
Doo's about to go in. I feel that he's about to...
Well, even in Shenzhen, when we were there, like, everyone played by the rules. You know what I mean?
Not me.
No? You were butt naked just walking around the street?
Nah, man, I don't know. You can't...
It's a different mentality over there.
This thing is real as far as... On one hand, and this is all in retrospect and learning more and having exposure and this virus becoming like a part of life. But for sure, 100%, there's a psychological impact of these measures. That's a guarantee.
I mean, yeah.
That's a guarantee.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to measure, unlike getting a physical virus. You measure it. You have it. Okay, let's measure your suffering, your Do you have a fever, or what are your symptoms? When it comes to psychological health, it's a lot harder and it takes a lot more time. And there's all kinds of different people affected at different developmental stages. And it's a much tougher calculation. So you try to find this balance. You try to find the balance of damage on both sides.
Yeah.
Physical damage, suffering, death, psychological damage, suffering, etc. Because there's no freebie.
Yeah.
Like, people wanted to act along the way. Like, you could go one way with it and it was like absolutely just right, no matter what.
No downfalls.
Yeah, but it's like nothing is like that.
Yeah.
Until you start talking about the consequences, until you start being as honest as possible about the benefits and drawbacks, because there's always benefits and drawbacks. So hopefully that can be over soon. For the people, for those people, whatever that clip happens to be.